to the future. This is the iPhone 14, a complete redesign in the same design. Because here at Apple, we believe innovation is key. That way we can innovate every year and kick up those sales. Now, don't be fooled. Just because this phone looks the exact same for the last 2 years, it's jam-packed with a whole bunch of new features. This includes our extremely unnecessary push for 48 megapixels to compete with Samsung in the race of who can jam as many megapixels into a phone for no fucking reason. And even though we haven't caught up with Samsung, we feel like we've done enough for you guys to make another yearly $1,000 purchase. What's that? You don't have $1,000? iPhone 14 is launching in multiple versions this year to bring it even more affordable to you. Can't get the iPhone Professional Max Extreme Edition? You can save $57 and get the iPhone Pro Max Edition, or save an additional $100 and get the iPhone 14 Standard, which is just essentially the iPhone 13 redesigned in the new design, but the same design.
You don't raise your children the way we do. I mean, a 9-year-old boy in Gaza is more of a man than a 25-year-old in America. You prolong adolescence to an absurd degree. You don't prioritize maturity, but at the same time, you sexualize your children very early. I mean, you've got like 3rd graders twerking, you know, and singing explicit song lyrics, and then you put that on social media for everyone to see. You're teaching kindergartners about sex, masturbation, about homosexuality and transgenderism. You think that prepubescent children can decide to have their genitals removed before they even know what they're actually for. You put little girls in beauty contests and try to turn them into, you know, miniature Beyoncés and Cardi B's singing about WAP. 12% of 12-year-olds in the US are already sexually active at 12. And that's from a study 10 years ago. So you can expect that the percentage is even higher now. 6.5% of them had actually already engaged in anal sex by the age of 12. The majority of sex offenders in the West victimize children, and they say about 90% of sexual assaults on children are never even reported. So imagine what the real numbers are. No, you have a pedophilia problem in the West. And no matter how much you wish you could, you can't shift that over to us. We're not going to help you justify your sickness. Islam does not approve of this.
Get him good. Who's doing this? Stop.
You assured us that these policies were perfectly safe. See, Loudoun County, Virginia, a trans student was allowed into the women's bathroom where he assaulted a girl. They moved him to another school where he did it again. See, Irvine, California last month, where a trans student entered the women's locker room and flashed the girls there. When they confronted him, he mercilessly beat them. This happened again in Gwinnett County, Georgia. This happened again in Oklahoma City. This happened again in Ohio, where a trans man was allowed to use the locker room where he was arrested for flashing little girls. The judge dropped the charges after he ruled that this man was too fat for them to see anything. In this city, a man using they-them pronouns hunted down and killed a female jogger because he, quote, wanted to look just like her. You will no longer be able to look into the eyes of your constituents and honestly say that you are unaware of the assaults that inevitably take place when we declare to women, you have no right to privacy.
To temptation, but deliver us.
They told us to never forget, but they want us to forget the trillions that went missing. They told us to never forget, but they want us to forget the insurance policy on the buildings. They told us to never forget, but they want us to forget the vice president's former company made billions of dollars. But maybe that's why schools don't teach people to track the money, like how to track lobbying money, what lobbyists actually do, how much military contractors earn from war, how much money companies spend on political contributions, and the revolving door of corruption between industry and government. They don't teach our kids about the history of false flags, that the Vietnam War was started by a lie, that the Gulf War was started by a lie, that JFK vetoed a military plan to attack American cities. Because students who know all that might question why a building that wasn't hit by a plane collapsed, why there aren't a bunch of videos of something hitting the Pentagon, and why they attacked Afghanistan and Iraq after claiming the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Because what they really want you to forget is how to ask questions.
Hey, hey! No! not.
Wait,
what are you doing? Not.
Stop
that. I am not paying my.
How dare you?
I am not paying my tax money
Get
to
out.
support.
Get out of this
this type of.
now. You
Like, why do you have this hanging? And why do you have this hanging up? Your kids can see.
It's part of the students. Here.
No, it's not part of anything. That is uncalled for. We are paying you to teach history, and that's what you need to be teaching.
Excuse me, this is a public school, little lady.
You are excused.
This is,
You are.
do you see
my-
what's on this
No,
flag?
no. This needs to go exactly where it is, in the garbage.
You need to go in the
No,
garbage. Get
I'm
out.
teaching my son to grow up to be a man.
Get
And
out.
I don't want you hanging on
All right.
flag,
I'm calling security.
hanging a flag up
I'm
for
calling
you to
security.
sit up there and teach them the type of stuff I'm trying to keep them away from.
I told you what happened.
No.
I told you.
No.
I told you somebody
You
here
don't
gonna
need
get
to
mad.
You need to be teaching history.
33, please.
No, you need to be teaching
You need to
history.
shut up
No,
and get
I'm
out.
not getting
don't
out
talk
of
to my mom
nowhere.
like that.
I'm not getting out
You
of
shut
nowhere.
up, too.
Hey, no, you don't tell my son to shut up.
You're failing.
You talking to me.
Your son
And like
is failing.
My son ain't failing.
Yeah.
He needs to be failing because you got a flag
Failing
hanging
because
up
of you.
over the United States of America.
My work is to ensure that before you ever learn about the Mayflower in 1620, you're going to learn about that ship in 1619 called the White Lion. You're going to learn about our stories of resistance, of the contributions of Black Americans, and we will not be erased from the narrative of the country that our ancestors built. And then we see why they're trying to ban our history, right? Because once you learn your history, you don't accept your place. Once you learn your history, you challenge the way the power is wielded against the vulnerable. So that's why they want to outlaw our history, because history will radicalize us. History will open our eyes. There's a reason we're the only people in the history of the United States for whom it was ever illegal to learn to read and write. Because we know, right, that education leads to liberation. And you can't keep people down who understand their history.
Can men get pregnant?
Mr. Chairman, yes.
Okay. Define what a woman is.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
there are people who identify as different genders who are capable of getting pregnant. That is my position on this. I am not going to feed more into the bigotry of that question.
Okay, what is this right here?
The pelvis. It's the only bone in the body that's gender specific, which means it's different in boys and girls.
Is it?
Yes. The pelvis's job to protect the organs used for digesting and reproduction, which means throwing babies.
So I identify as non-binary and trans at the same time. I believe non-binary is under the trans umbrella. Non-binary for me means that I don't identify as a man or a woman. I'm neither, I am both, I am beyond.
I completely reject how non-binary people specifically have injected themselves into the trans label. I am a transsexual. There's a medical basis for that. There's a scientific basis for that. And for non-binary, it's really not the case. I think that non-binary is more of a political term than anything else, which is why I've never met a non-binary Republican, non-binary Libertarian. It's clearly an invention of the left.
There is so much variance. You are not a trans woman of color. You are not a poor trans woman. You have different experiences as a trans person.
Yeah, everything's nuanced, but at the end of the day, there's a very fine line between someone who's a transsexual.
You don't know my life. You don't know my experience with
you don't know
gender
we don't know
dysphoria.
each other's life. I'm not saying that. Like, you're not trans. Like, there's a medical definition of being a transsexual.
I'm going to stop you. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Do you feel like talking? You don't have to. Okay.
People who eat hot dogs eat them because they taste so good. But what's in them is not so good. You know, we've learned to accept it, but I don't know if you'll feel so accepting after this. The company Clear Foods recently analyzed 345 hot dog and sausage products from 75 brands and retailers and found, are you hot dog lovers ready for this? Human DNA in 2% of the samples and in 2/3 of the vegetarian samples. And get this, 10% of all vegetarian products appear to contain meat. Clear Foods says that there are some companies producing high-quality hot dog, top scores to Butterball, McCormick, Eckrich, and Hebrew National.
Did you know that they put toxic waste that is from the nuclear waste over large tracts of land? Do you know that they're growing food under soil that is toxic, poisoned with nuclear stuff? Did you know that the food that you're eating is killing you? Did you know that the water that you're drinking is killing you? You like to eat fast food? Fast food is death food.
Issues at the border, come on. That's her jam. Billions more to Ukraine, no big deal. Listen to this one. Some new drug taking over Philly, leaving people looking like zombies. Come on, don't be a buzzkill. Governor saying the Constitution doesn't matter. Hey, not a big deal here. Let's dance. State legislators indoctrinating kids. Turn that music up.
Explain your domestic setup.
Yeah, I'm non-binary, which means that I don't identify as a man or a woman, and I use they/them pronouns.
And your wife or partner, is it a wife? How would you describe your other half?
All of the adults in my household identify as transgender or non-binary.
Right, and you're only married to one, or you're married to both?
Legally married to one.
Right.
In a relationship with another.
So the one you're legally married to, what is their name?
Bren.
Bren. And Bren identifies as?
A woman.
A
Uses
woman.
she, her.
And she was born a woman and remains identifying as a woman?
Yeah.
Okay, and who's the third member of the setup?
My partner, Luna, who uses they/them pronouns as well.
And Luna is male or female? Or?
Non-binary.
Non-binary. And, okay, but you're not married to Luna?
No.
Okay, and you have 2 children in the house?
Yes.
Okay, and just to clarify again, Sparrow, we don't know whether Sparrow was born male or female because you haven't said that. The Sparrow is now non-binary?
No, Sparrow is, I would say, anti-gender, which is a term, that means before gender. Like, all children, at this age are developmentally not able to really understand gender yet.
My child is not stupid because you're a bad teacher. Mr. Gone, your son didn't get his homework done. It ain't homework. Quit tripping. Schoolwork. Y'all didn't finish teaching them in school. I'm paying y'all. Do your job. Don't expect me to do your job when they come home. Did you tell them that? Just like that, with that much attitude. Just like that. I told the principal one day, if you don't want me to send my son to school with a backpack full of dishes they didn't get washed last night, stop sending all this junk to my house. We got stuff we want to do. We got a family. We want to do stuff together. My son comes home, works on so-called homework for 6 hours, memorizing a bunch of stuff he'll never use in his life, and you want me to think I'm not a bad parent because I won't go back and relearn it to waste, now you're going to waste their time and my time? You are some kind of out your mind.
Why are you rocking up on me like that?
Huh?
Why are you walking up on me like that?
Well, right here. You see that?
Where your badge at?
I don't need a badge.
You think you gonna stop something? This nigga think he gonna do something, y'all. You think he gonna do something with that?
You guys are
badge?
parking illegally.
You got a vest on with no gun. You got a flashlight. Where your whistle at? Blow the whistle. You got a vest with no.
We've taken another step towards a cashless society. A big bank has confirmed customers in some locations can no longer withdraw money over the counter as branches continue to wind back services.
It's up there with the pub with no beer, the bank with no cash. ANZ has confirmed some branches no longer handle cash at the counter. Others are directing customers to smart ATMs for cash transactions.
The latest figures on ATMs shows the number of machines has more than halved from almost 14,000 back in 2017 to around 6,000 in the middle of last year.
For years, cash was king, but not anymore. Hello there, I wondered if you had any change for a $50 note.
No, I don't have any cash.
Don't use cash anymore these days?
No, definitely not. No change at all.
Never? Never. Not having cash is much more convenient. For the first time since dollars and cents were introduced in the 1960s, Australia's cash supply is shrinking.
We are becoming fully digitalised. We're still producing cash out there, but we're just becoming more reliant on other ways to pay. And this is what you would expect. In fact, it's a trend that's long been in the making.
If you're a little nervous about the iPhone 14 and you're used to the iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, no worries, because the iPhone 14 redesign is the exact design of the 12 and 13, internally and externally, for user experience. But the front camera all has changed now. And you know we had to end off this year on a bang. The iPhone 14 will come with the traditional Apple logo on the back, thus making it expensive. Welcome to the future.
One time I did a magazine cover and the lady had me hold something over my eye, and I go, why would I want to do that? And she goes, just everybody does it. And I go, okay. So I held a button over my eye, and now it shows all these people doing that, and they say they're in the Satan Club. Well, I just did it because the photographer told me to.
Yeah.
And they probably did too.
Yeah.
Well, of course, now looking back, they probably are in the Satan Club, but I didn't know no better. I thought, well, if everybody's doing it, I'll do it.
It turns out that the doctrine of white supremacy, is probably one of the grimmest events in human history, since the discovery of syphilis. Because it blinds so many people to the truth about themselves and makes them to commit all manner of crimes. They think against the other, but it's never against the other. It is always against oneself.
I'm going through a lot.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I'm just going through a lot.
Well, talk to me. What are you going through?
We're going through a parking lot.
What? I'm leaving.
There's a German kid right now, as you and I speaking, subject mining. But when you look at his continent, wherever he comes from, there's no minerals underground. But the boys and girls are being taught about mining and minerals. Me and you, there was no subject called mining in high school. What mining were you taught in high school? What's the process to start a mine? Just tell me basics of mining. But mining is a strong pillar, probably amongst the strongest pillars of our economy. So that means that there's a child in Germany somewhere that's being prepared, in Asia somewhere that's being prepared to come and run this economy, while your kids are being prepared to come and work for those German kids that are going to come here in future. Because your kids are being taught how to do nonsense, how to label an insect. Listen, our economy in this country, it's agriculture. Our economy in this country, I can even break down what agriculture is. Mining, manufacturing. Why aren't those things primary subjects in primary school, in high school, so that you've got a basic understanding of your own economy? That means some people must come from somewhere to run this economy, because your kids were never taught anything about this economy. So designed to continue systematic slavery and suppress the people of the day and make sure that the future belongs to those.
You're sad? Do not be. Have you tried walking around outside? It's so pretty out there. Just need to change something. Change something. Your wardrobe. On a boat. You cannot be sad on a boat. Let me give you a Valium. I'm sad that you're sad. No, I'm the sad one. No, I'm sad. You made me sad. I could give you $100. You have to pay me back. Girl boss it.
So have you ever heard of the Devil's Punch Bowl and why you should never eat any of the peaches that grow on the trees there? This is part 1, and I'm gonna let you know why. The Devil's Punch Bowl is located in Natchez, Mississippi. In 1865, when slavery was abolished, a lot of freed slaves migrated to the area. This made the population go from about 10,000 to about 100,000. And of course, you know who did not like it. So the state of Mississippi, as well as the government, devised a plan to enclose all of the newly freed slaves within the Devil's Punch Bowl, and they turned it into a concentration camp. These men, women, and children were not given food nor water, but they were still made to work. They also contracted many diseases, one of them being smallpox. Due to starvation and the various diseases that they contracted, over 20,000 men, women, and children died in this concentration camp, and none of them were given a proper burial. They were just given a shovel and told to bury the dead where they lie.
We could do an infinity pool. Do you want to do an infinity pool? Yeah, we just book a room in a really nice resort in a different country, and then one night we go out and we accidentally murder someone, and when the government finds out, they tell us that they can clone our bodies and kill our clone instead of us in front of everyone. And then when we watch the public execution of our clone, we're confused. We're like, wait, was that really me or was it my clone? I don't know. And then we spend the rest of the time in this endless loop of trying to chase that high. You do that?
Folks, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, just recently, Secretary of Energy Granholm went out on a 4-day road trip in her electric vehicle to draw attention to the billions of dollars that the greenies in the White House are pouring into their electric vehicle fantasy. So let's talk a little bit about this road trip. The predictable problem that they had on the road trip, there were not enough EV chargers. Aww. Okay, so again, you can't make this stuff up. So what did Granholm's staff do? They got in their gas-powered car and they sped ahead to get in line to save spots with their gas-powered vehicle at those electric chargers. And it was so bad in one location because the gas-powered car was blocking all of the other electric vehicles that had to charge. It was a really hot day. A family actually called the police on them. They had a baby in their car that was crying, again, really hot day. And here's a gas-powered car, Granholm staff, trying to save them a spot so they could just slip in line and get their EV charged.
Hi. One herbal tea, please.
Which flavor?
Flavor. Jasmine?
Sorry, I meant for the boba.
The little spheres of tapioca and sugar?
The tea comes with boba.
Well, it doesn't, because I see the tea right there and I see the boba over there. So why don't we just not combine them? Yeah? So I'll take the tea without the covert diabetes delivery mechanism, please.
The system won't let me do that.
Okay. Yeah, no, fine. One boba, please. We'll call it a mental health day treat. Self-care, right? Isn't that what people call it whenever they need an excuse to do whatever the fuck they want?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, of course you don't. Of course you don't. One chewy sugar tea, please.
All right. You can scan the code.
Why?
Because the code takes you to the app.
That's 2 apps today. Yeah. Got apps for everything, Even though I'm already talking to the person that could just take my order right here, but I got to download an app, right? How about this? I have cash. You have tea. Why don't we just streamline things?
We don't take cash, though.
Yeah. How about cards? Take cards?
Yes.
Oh, great.
But there is a $10 minimum. There's no minimum on the app, though.
Sorry. It's it's not your fault. You didn't create the system. The system.
No, I seriously think about this every single day, and I'm sorry if I sound stupid. If somebody has $500 and they've already paid taxes on it, and they give it to me, so now just because it goes from them to me, I also have to pay taxes on it, even though they just did. And then not only that, but anytime I spend one of those $500, I'm going to also pay another tax fee on whatever item I'm buying. And then whoever I bought the item from will have to pay taxes on the money they just earned from what I bought. So so every single dollar, if a dollar is 100 cents, hold on.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
And it's amazing for you to say that, well, look at all these Muslims, the minute you give them a little bit of freedom, they go wild and they start being all violent. How can you be a citizen of the United States, the country that has generated more violence and militarism in the world over the last 5 or 6 decades, and say, look at those people over there, they are incredibly violent? We play a significant role in what has been happening in the Middle East because we've been interfering and dominating that region in order to have access to the oil.
I wasn't talking about
Israel.
violence.
So,
I was talking about theocracy. That doesn't happen here.
no, well, okay, that doesn't happen here, but at the same time, Iran isn't invading lots of other countries and occupying them for a decade, nor are fundamentalist Muslim countries the way the United States is. So these things are interlinked because we are continuously interfering in that part of the world. And so to say...
Really, it's all our fault?
It's not all our fault, but when you send your military for 6 straight decades into other countries to bomb them, kill their children and women and innocent men, prop up dictators, yeah, you take responsibility for your actions and say, to the extent that that region...
That religion goes back 1,000 years before our revolution, so I don't think we can take all the blame.
I don't think we should. I think we should take a lot of it. And there's lots of bodies and corpses that have been piled up in the name of Christianity and Judaism as well.
Not recently.
Have you heard of the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza for the last 50 years, motivated in part by extremist views of Judaism, or the wars in Europe, or the fact that there were generals in the United States saying we have to go and invade and destroy Iraq, a country of 26 million people, because our God is bigger? Lots of religions, not just Islam, produce violence.
Well, if I could just make one quick point about Egypt.
That silly liberal view that all religions are alike because it makes you feel good.
No, it makes you feel good to say our side is better. Those
no,
people
it makes
over there
you
are
feel
primitive
good to
and
put
violent.
a crown on your head and say, I'm a good person. How do I prove that?
You get to ignore the responsibility that your own government has for the violence and instability in the world by saying, look, it's that primitive religion over there that's to blame.
What it looked like to me, about 75 flights up, below the fire, I saw from the corner, boom, 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 boom.
Here, because once the tower fell, you heard boom, 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 boom.
And we heard this boom, boom, boom.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom. All the way down.
So it's like boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, it was like bang, 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 like bullet shots.
And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013, down 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area.
I have a tape of a BBC reporter broadcasting directly back to England talking about a third building has collapsed, World Trade Center Building 7, talks for 7 minutes. All the while she's talking, World Trade Center Building 7 is still standing right behind.
The CIA was created on this day in 1947 by Harry Truman to part of the process in which the US went from being a world power into the world's largest empire, surpassing the British Empire. And in fact, Winston Churchill was a big proponent of creating a CIA because he saw the US as the country most able to stop communism and maintain the existing international order in which Britain and other European countries could keep their empires, even if those empires were growing weaker. So, what does the CIA do? Well,
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses.
A key part of this is their covert and illegal operations to destabilize countries and crush anti-colonial movements. They did this in every corner of the world, whether it's orchestrating a coup against the democratically elected Mossadegh government in Iran to reinstall the Shah dictatorship and prevent the nationalization of oil, or the coup against the anti-colonial government of Lumumba in Congo to stop them taking control of their natural resources, or the long list of coups in Latin America to install puppet military dictatorships and crush any rebellions against them. Another big part of our work is psychological operations and propaganda. So, what are some of the most famous examples of this? Well, look at Operation Mockingbird, a massive program during the Cold War to recruit journalists both in the US and abroad to spread propaganda, including reporters from the New York Times, AP, Reuters, and others. In total, 400 journalists and 25 news organizations, all on the CIA payroll, to manipulate public discourse and even publish fake stories. And on a related note, the New York Times has admitted that they still run some of their stories past national security officials for approval before publishing.
While the British, with the Arab Egyptians, began to invade the Sudan, the Italians began to invade Ethiopia, the French invade Morocco and Algeria, The Spanish invade Mauritania and what is now called Sahara. The French invade what is Senegal, Mali area, while the Portuguese invaded what is part of Guinea area, while the British invades, again, what is Nigeria and Ghana, and the German invades what is Gabon, Congo, and Angola, and Namibia, but the Portuguese controls Angola, so the Germans had to run down to Namibia. In the course of all of this, when the fighting was finished and the bloody wars had been fought, the Germans was left with the short end of the stick. Notwithstanding, they had called the conference in the first place to cut Africa up between the Europeans. But now Kaiser finds himself cut out of the deal by the turn of the century, the 1900s. And he said, look, unless you give me a better piece of the land, because they hadn't discovered uranium in Namibia yet, and he didn't realize the true value of the farmland in Tanzania to the economy of Europe yet. So stuck with Tanzania and Namibia, which is mostly a desert, the Germans hit the ceiling. And when the Germans couldn't get a better deal on the African mineral resources, Germany went to war to find those resources in Europe.
Yeah, they're paying black women not to have babies now. They got all kind of plans to stop our race. With my knowledge, what can you tell a man like me now? What's your suggestion? What should be my movement? Integrate?
Yeah, equal rights in a mixed society.
In this society, where you still own the government, you still own the train station, the railroad plant, the lecture plant, these television cameras, you still make all the food, you control everything, and I'm like a leech on a dog's back. All I can do is just wait for you. I can't do nothing for myself. Integrating in your society don't mean I'm doing nothing for myself. You doing it all. I want to do something for myself. I'm tired of depending on you. Can I have my own land and country?
Well, you've got your own freedom here, for instance. I know you're luckier than many black people in America, but you're your own boss.
I'm speaking for my nation.
See, I know, I appreciate that.
If I was representing just me, I wouldn't be talking like this, because I got it made. I'm talking for my brothers.
Mohammed, I don't see how you can slice up America into bits and get all the whites in one area and all the blacks in another.
Then we leave then. We leave.
But they'd miss you.
I know it.
Well, I think my mother said Cherokee, and it's been a long time, I don't know which one it was, she says. I don't even know if she remembers really, but...
Cherokee and Navajo. My father was Navajo and my mother was Cherokee.
What happened? Yeah, they would, during the 1800s, early 1900s, white people would kidnap black kids in Florida and use black babies to bait alligators. They would tie black babies up and put them out in the swamps and let alligators eat them so they can capture the alligators. They have gator bait memorabilia in museums and stores, especially in Florida. They would do some real sick shit, man. They would do some real sick stuff out here.
So they breed kids for the specific purpose of using them for sacrifice?
Breeders. And it's more common than you think. And the rest of the kids, from foster care, orphans, people that don't have any family.
We have had several clients come that were trafficked and transported through Child Protective Services and foster care system. Federal or state organizations, they want to deny that it exists or deny the problem because a lot of our children are passing through their hands. They are absolutely a part of the problem.
There are hundreds of children in Arizona who are missing right now from state custody.
State lawmakers are now questioning how 70 foster kids can go missing.
In the meantime, the Arizona Department of Child Safety says tonight they can't locate 44 children who are supposed to be in their custody. Investigators believe the 4 children may have been taken from their foster home.
They recovered 25 missing and endangered children over the last month. 1 in 4 was part of what they believe an alleged human trafficking situation.
In Orange County last year, they had a bust for these traffickers. 65% of those victims were wards of Child Protective Services. Okay, have y'all heard this insane Mary Poppins and Pennywise theory? Because it's nuts. So the theory is that Mary Poppins and Pennywise are the exact same species, and it makes a lot of sense. So first things first, both Pennywise and Mary Poppins return around 25 to 27 years. And they seem to like to return to groups of children that they've visited before. The difference though is that when Mary Poppins returns and when Pennywise returns,
Mary Poppins depends on children's joy, while Pennywise depends on their fear. For some reason, both of them seem to attract a child named George or Georgie. They both utilize paper toys. Pennywise, a paper boat. Mary Poppins, a paper kite. Both Mary Poppins and Pennywise seem to have the exact same power. They both take advantage of what's happening in the minds of the children they're visiting. But again, black and white, Mary Poppins' motivation is joy, while Pennywise' motivation is fear. And they both have a living reflection which can function separately from them, which is crazy. And parents in both Mary Poppins and its stories have no idea of the fantastical things that are happening to their children. And the kids who they interact with seem to forget the magical elements of their experiences with these characters as they grow older. Don't even get me started on the flying balloons!
I'd slide down on the rocks, baby. It's dangerous in there.
Oh my god, baby, the bloody London bot just missed you! Holy bloody mother of God, Jesus fucking my god, baby, come back, the London bot nearly hit ya! Oh my god, baby, you alright?
So, I bought this cheese here, it cost me $40, and there is a hair stuck to it.
Oh yeah, we can take that back.
Wait, what?
Here.
Okay.
Take this. Your next purchase is on us. Did you want to fight?
Yes, please. I would like to have a little bit of a fight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where's your receipt?
I don't have a
I
receipt.
can't take it back without a receipt.
Oh yeah. Well, the name of the store is stamped on the cheese. Okay.
How do I know you didn't just beat up somebody and steal it?
Who does that?
You might.
Really?
Yeah, you look like the kind who might.
I am going to go on Yelp and I am going to give this place a scathing review. Scathing. I'm going to blow up the internet. I'm going to break it.
Oh my God, you scared me so much. Please take our money. Leave the cheese.
Thank you. Thank you. Was that so hard? It's called customer service.
Fine.
Thank you.
Fine.
Thank you. That was
You're
really
so welcome. A lot of people really like that.
That's great too.
See you again. Bye.
Maybe you did not inherit the skills and confidence that it takes to can hundreds and hundreds of jars of food for your family to get through the winter. Maybe you're from the generation that these skills didn't get passed down to, and the only thing that you're inheriting is fear and regulations from agencies. Today on our family's YouTube channel, I am sharing some of my favorite tips and hacks that got passed down to me from my Mennonite mom and grandma, as I answer some of the most commonly asked questions to try to dispel the fear so that you can keep practicing and master the skill of canning.
What? I see it too. That's probably why them dogs keep running. Hold up. I see it.
See it behind that tree right there?
Yeah, I see it. Go get the gun. Probably got to get the gun.
No, you go get it. Let me keep it on camera.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I don't know what the fuck that is, man. It look like a damn bear. What is that?
I don't know, but it's moving though.
Hell yeah, what is that, man? Look like a damn bear, man.
Man, look at it. See it, boy?
Yeah, I see it.
Well, go get your go.
Hold up, man.
Let me get this stick, man.
A goddamn stick, my ass. Oh my God, what is that?
Look at a damn kangaroo.
Hold up, I'm gonna get it on tape.
A bear or something?
Look like a damn bear. Hold up. What the fuck is that?
Where to?
Home. I'm going home.
Woman, I don't know where the fuck you live.